Buenas tardes, mis estudiantes. Good afternoon, Spanish 1 students at ECHS. Today we're going to talk a little bit about reflexive verbs. Now, I know when you first saw this assignment on Google Classroom, it struck fear and terror into many hearts. But please, it's not that complicated. We're going to deal with these verbs just like we normally do, just like we always have. We're just going to add one little extra step to it. So, let's see if we can clear up some of the confusion. Now, the first thing you need to know is that almost any verb in Spanish can be reflexive, and yes, we have reflexive verbs in English too. Okay, so almost any verb can be. It's not necessarily a new class of verbs. Reflexive deals with the situation that's going on in the sentence, not so much the verb itself. Now, we have a reflexive situation when the subject and the object of the verb are the same. Remember, the subject is who or what is doing the action, and the object is who or what is receiving the action. So when the subject and the object are the same, we say that this verb is reflexive. Okay, so think of it like looking in a mirror. You see your reflection, right? So that's what's going on with these reflexive verbs. It's just that the subject and the object of this verb happen to be the same person or thing. Now, here are some examples in English. So if I say, I wash my hands, I'm the subject, I'm doing the washing, but I'm also the object, right? They're my hands. I'm washing my hands. We could even say, I wash up, right? Or I clean up, right? So I'm talking about myself. I'm doing the action, and I'm receiving the action. Look at the second one there. He takes a bath. He's giving the bath. He's receiving the bath. So this is reflexive. But look at the third one. She gives the dog a bath. Now this is not reflexive. She's giving the bath. She's the subject. But she's not receiving the bath. The dog is, right? So this is not reflexive. So remember, reflexive just means that the subject and the object are the same. And if the subject and the object are not the same, then this situation, or this verb in this situation, is not going to be reflexive. Now, in Spanish, we always include a reflexive object pronoun. We'll call them ROPs. We always include a reflexive object pronoun when the verb is reflexive. We don't always do that in English. In English, we have reflexive situations, and we don't put a reflexive object pronoun in there. We have them, we use them sometimes, but not always. In Spanish, we're just consistent. If it's reflexive, we always use the reflexive object pronoun. Now, remember that since these are reflexive, the subject and the object have to match. Okay? That means that the reflexive object pronoun and the ending I put on the verb always have to match. They always have to go together because my subject and my object are the same. Now, here are your reflexive object pronouns. Okay, so we have me, and that would be like the English myself. We have te, that would be like the English yourself, the familiar one. Se can be formal yourself, or himself, or herself, or itself. Nos, ourselves. Os, remember, vosotros only used in Spain, yourselves familiar. Se, yourselves or themselves. And notice we put them in the same order we put our verbs in. Me always goes with the yo form. Te always goes with the tu form. Se always goes with usted, él, ella. Nos always goes with nosotros. Os always goes with vosotros. Se always goes with ustedes, ellos, ellas. Now, ROPs, where do we put them? We put them on the end of infinitives, but they go in front of conjugated verbs. So if I don't conjugate the verb, I just hook it onto the infinitive and make one long word out of it. But once I conjugate that infinitive, I have to bring it around front. Now when we conjugate the verb, I know when you look at these, for instance, peinarse, to comb, right? There's going to be peinar, and then there's going to be se at the end of it. And you look at peinarse and you think, well, what do I do with this se? Well, the se is just the pronoun. Okay, so when we conjugate it, we pretend like it's not there. Pretend like the se is not on there. We're going to conjugate penar just like we normally would conjugate in a normal AR verb. And we're going to put the reflexive object pronoun then in front of it. Okay, let's talk about some ejemplos. Let's talk about some examples. Here's one, lavarse. Now, lavar, L-A-V-A-R, lavar just means to wash. Well, now I've got the reflexive object pronoun hooked to the end of it, the se, because it's an infinitive, lavarse. So, making it reflexive, lavarse just means to wash oneself. When I conjugate it, I'm going to take this se off of the end, bring it around front, make it match my subject, and I'm going to conjugate lavar just like normal. So, me lavo, te lavas, se lava, nos lavamos, os laváis, se lavan. Here's another example. Divertirse. Now, divertirse happens to be a stem changer. And that should give us no issue. We've conjugated, we've dealt with stem changers before. And divertir is an E to IE stem changer. We're going to conjugate it just like any other E to IE stem changer, but we're going to add the reflexive object pronoun when we conjugate it to the beginning in the front. If we leave it infinitive, as in divertirse, we're going to hook it onto the end. So divertirse means to enjoy oneself or to have a good time. So I conjugate it just like any other stem changer. I just add the reflexive object pronoun out here to the front. So me divierto, te diviertes, se divierte, nos divertimos, no stem change, os divertís, no stem change, se divierten, right? Remember inside the boot, our little boot pattern for the stem changers. We just added a pronoun in front of it. Ponerse, to put on. Now, poner by itself means to put or to place. Now I make it reflexive. Ponerse. It means to put on, like to put on a jacket, to put on a hat, to put on sunglasses. Now, when I conjugate it, notice I have a little note here on the yo form. Poner has an irregular yo form. And so we're going to conjugate poner just like we always would. It has an irregular yo form. The yo form for poner is pongo. So when I make it reflexive, me pongo. Te pones, se pone, nos ponemos, os ponéis, se ponen. Notice the only thing irregular about poner is just the yo form. Just has a little funky yo form. Now, even the crazy irregular verbs can be reflexive. And we know we've worked with a few of those already. There's probably no more irregular verb than the verb ir. Just ir, ir. Ir means to go. And you see how it's conjugated in the present tense. Voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. But we're going to make ir reflexive now. Irse. And when we make it reflexive, we say it just means to go away. Like, I'm leaving now, bye. I'm going away. Or you can even make it a command. Go away. But ir, to go. Irse, to go away. When it's reflexive, we conjugate ir like we always would, even though it's crazy abnormal. Voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. We just add the reflexive object pronoun to the front of it. So it's me voy, te vas, se va, nos vamos, os vais, se van. Okay? Now, some verbs are reflexive in Spanish, but not in English. And here's two of the most common ones. Quedarse, to remain. So if I say, I'm staying home, me quedo en casa. Right? I make it reflexive. It's not in English, but it is in Spanish. Or sentirse, to feel. I feel well. Me siento bien. Okay? Now, we've been using some reflexive verbs all along. For instance, this one, ¿Cómo te llamas? What is your name? Literally, what are you called, or what do you call yourself? ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo José. So remember, the person doing the action and the person receiving the action is the same. The verb is reflexive. And notice in the question, ¿Cómo te llamas? I'm asking, what is your name? What do you call yourself? The tu form. The te and the ending on the verb, as, match. In the answer, when Jose answers, me llamo, I call myself Jose. Me and the ending o always have to match. The subject, the verb ending, and the object, the reflexive object pronoun, always have to match. Now, un ejemplo. ¿A qué hora se levantan ustedes? What time do you all get up? Now, you're the ones getting up, and you're the ones who are getting yourselves up. It's reflexive. So to get up in the morning is reflexive. ¿A qué hora se levantan ustedes? And the answer, nos levantamos. We get up, or we get ourselves up, a las 6:30. Ejemplo. ¿Se siente usted bien? Do you feel well? No, me siento mal hoy. No, I feel bad today. Notice that the subject, the verb ending, and the reflexive object pronoun right in front of them always match. Here's another example. Siempre nos desayunamos con la familia. Desayunarse, if you look at your list, desayunarse means to have breakfast or to eat breakfast. Siempre nos desayunamos con la familia. We always have breakfast with our family. Notice the amos, that's the subject, and the nos, that's the object, match. Ejemplo. We like to take a walk in the afternoons. Pasearse is to take a walk. So we like to take a walk in the afternoons. Nos gusta pasearnos por las tardes. Well, what in the world's going on here? Well, remember, when we do our likes and dislikes, we always use gustar and then an infinitive. Okay? Now, since it's an infinitive, we leave the reflexive object pronoun hooked to the end of the verb, but it still has to match the subject. Okay? So, nos gusta, we like, right? We like pasearnos, to take a walk. The nos, right? It lets us know that we're the ones who are doing this. We like to take a walk por las tardes. So even though we leave it in the infinitive, doesn't mean we don't change the reflexive object pronoun. We do. It still has to match the subject even when this reflexive verb is left in the infinitive. Now here's another example. I have to comb my hair. So I'm doing the combing, and it's my hair. Well, here's the sentence. Tengo que peinarme el pelo. Tengo que peinarme el pelo. Now remember when we studied tener idioms, we saw that to have to, obligation. Anytime I have to do something, or you have to do something, or anyone has to do something, it's always some form of tener, que, plus an infinitive. An infinitive, right? So look back up there at the sentence again. Tengo que, I have to. Well, what do I have to do? I have to comb my hair. Peinar is to comb. I have to leave that in the infinitive, but it's my hair, so this is reflexive. Now, even though I leave the reflexive object pronoun at the end of peinar, I still have to make it match the subject. I have to comb my hair. So tengo que peinarme el pelo. Even though the ROP is at the end of the infinitive, it still has to match the subject. Okay, so let's go over the things that we've learned. Conjugating reflexive verbs is no different than conjugating any other verb. You conjugate it as you normally would. We just add something extra, a reflexive object pronoun, to the verb. The reflexive object pronoun hooks onto the end of the infinitive, but we put it in front of the verb when we conjugate it. So on the end of infinitives, still got to change it to match a subject, but on the end of infinitives and on the front of conjugated verbs. And even when it is hooked onto the end of an infinitive, it still matches the subject. Okay, that's a quick rundown on reflexive verbs. So go to Google Classroom and do those assignments that have to deal with reflexive verbs. If you have issues, if you have problems, you can always contact me through email or through Google Comments, and I'll help walk you through it. Okay? Pues. El fin. Have a great day. Tengan buen día, mis estudiantes. Adiós.